Have you ever really paused in the quiet moments of the late night or the heavy silence of your car after a long day to truly observe the world around you? If you look closely, past the social pleasantries and the curated feeds of happiness, you might notice a startling pattern. Have you ever realized that some of the kindest people you have ever met, the ones who radiate warmth like a hearth in winter, are also some of the most deeply, soul-crushingly tired people you know? They are the ones who always show up, not just on time, but early. They are the ones whose calendars are mosaics of other people's needs. They are the ones who always have a smile plastered on their face, a smile that seems to say, "I am fine, everything is fine," even when their world is burning down around them. Their answer is always yes. It is an automatic reflex, a knee-jerk reaction to any request for help, support, or time. They move through the world like guardian angels in real life, always ready, always forgiving, always extending a hand. But if you look closely enough, if you dare to peer behind the curtain of that benevolence, if you really pay attention, pushing past that radiant outer glow to look deep into their eyes when they think no one is watching, you will see it. You will see the exhaustion. It isn't just physical tiredness, the kind that a good night's sleep can cure. It is a spiritual fatigue. You will sense that hidden behind that kindness is something deeper, heavier, and perhaps much darker. We live in a society that fetishizes kindness. We imagine it as this pure, uncomplicated good, a white light that holds no darkness. We teach children from the moment they can speak to be nice, to share, to be well behaved. We admire compassion in our spiritual leaders and empathy in our friends. We even measure our own humanity by how much emotional labor we can perform for others. We tell ourselves that to be good is to give, and to give until it hurts is the ultimate virtue. But the truth, the uncomfortable, unpolished truth, is that kindness, like everything else in this complicated, dualistic world, has a shadow. It has a cost. And when you ignore that shadow, when you pretend it doesn't exist in favor of a fairy tale version of goodness, kindness itself can mutate. It stops being a bridge to connection and turns into something destructive, something that corrodes the vessel that holds it. To understand how this happens, we have to go back to the beginning. The story of the tired, kind person rarely starts in adulthood. It starts small, often in the innocent landscape of childhood. Imagine a child. This child is sensitive, attuned to the emotional weather of the house. They learn, perhaps through trial and error, or perhaps through observing the volatile moods of adults, that being obedient, agreeable, and low maintenance is the currency of safety. They learn that when they suppress their own tears to comfort a parent, they are praised for being such a big girl or such a brave boy. They learn that when they put their own needs aside to make others comfortable, they are rewarded with smiles, with validation, and perhaps even the affection that they wouldn't receive otherwise. They learn that love is not unconditional. It is transactional. It is something earned through self-betrayal. Over time, this association doesn't just become a habit. It buries itself deep inside the child's nervous system. It becomes a survival strategy. This is what psychologists might call the fawn response, a trauma response where a person seeks safety by appeasing the threat, by being useful, by being undeniable. Kindness becomes survival. And as that child grows up, the neural pathways solidify, separating who they really are from what others expect them to be becomes harder than ever. They become the reliable one, the rock, the friend who never complains, the employee who never takes a sick day, the partner who requires nothing. But here is the naked truth that we are terrified to admit. When kindness is forced, when it is driven by a fear of rejection, a fear of conflict, or a desperate, hollow need to be valued, it is no longer pure kindness. It becomes a mask, a heavy porcelain mask painted with a permanent smile. And masks, when worn too long, start to suffocate the person wearing them. The skin underneath begins to rot for lack of air. Think about the people in your life who fit this description. Perhaps it is you. They will listen to your problems for hours, absorbing your toxicity while their own dinner goes cold. They will help you move house on their only day off, ignoring their aching back. They will lend you money even when they are staring at an overdraft notice themselves. They will sacrifice their own rest, their own dreams, just to ensure you are okay. At first glance from the outside, it feels admirable, it feels saintly. But if you have ever been that person, if you have lived that role, you know the secret texture of that experience. You know that behind every act of reckless self-sacrifice is a quiet, simmering resentment, a tiny, furious voice whispering in the back of your head. What about me? When is it my turn? Why does no one take care of me the way I take care of them? But that voice is dangerous. It contradicts the identity you have built, so it is silenced immediately, shoved down into the basement of the psyche. Because kindness, especially chronic kindness, comes with a cruel, unspoken rule. You are not allowed to put yourself first. To do so would be selfish, and in your world, being selfish is the ultimate sin. Psychologists have studied this phenomenon deeply and given it a name: compassion fatigue. It is a term often reserved for caregivers, nurses, and therapists, but it applies to the civilian kind person just as much. It describes the state where someone gives so much empathy, pours out so much care, that their internal well runs completely dry. It is a biological reality. You cannot pour from an empty cup, yet these individuals try to wring drops of water from a dry sponge day after day. Studies have shown an alarming reality. People who consistently prioritize others over themselves report higher levels of anxiety, depression, and even chronic physical health problems compared to those who maintain healthy boundaries. Their bodies eventually keep the score. Kindness, when unchecked, becomes self-erasure. And that is the dark side. Kindness without boundaries is not kindness at all. It becomes a subtle form of self-destruction. It is like diligently, obsessively watering every single plant in the community garden while your own plot of land cracks and turns to dust. The result is inevitable. The gardener collapses, and eventually, without the gardener, the entire garden withers anyway. But here is the even scarier part, the part that creates a vicious cycle. Sometimes, kindness itself becomes a weapon against you. I don't mean people pretending to be nice to manipulate others. That is malice. I mean a much quieter, unconscious mechanism where your kindness trains the world to mistreat you. When you are known as the kind one, the easygoing one, people start to expect it. They rely on it. They shape their behavior around your lack of resistance. Without realizing it, your inability to say no teaches others a lesson. It teaches them that your needs are secondary. It teaches them that your feelings are negotiable. It teaches them that you are an endless resource to be mined, not a garden to be tended. Over time, people even stop asking what you want. Why would they? They assume you will just adjust. They assume you are fine with the scrap because you have never demanded a seat at the table. The kind person, in the end, trains the world to overlook them. This creates a painful, lonely paradox. The kinder you are, the more invisible you become. You disappear into your own utility, and that invisibility is not peace. It is loneliness dressed up in politeness. It is screaming in a soundproof room. Let's look at the science, because this isn't just poetic speculation. A study published in the Journal of Personality and Social Psychology found that people who struggle to say no, often those identified as agreeable and compliant, are significantly more likely to experience burnout and professional stagnation. Another study from UC Berkeley showed that altruistic behavior only increases well-being when it is voluntary and authentic. Conversely, when kindness is performed out of guilt, obligation, or fear of disappointing others, it has the opposite effect. It lowers happiness, spikes cortisol, and increases systemic inflammation. And yet, so many of us get trapped here. We don't want to disappoint anyone, so we keep saying yes. We don't want to be perceived as difficult, so we keep giving. We are terrified that if we stop being useful, we will be abandoned. But the cost of this endless, performative kindness is enormous. Slowly, you begin to lose sight of yourself. You don't even know what you want for dinner anymore, let alone what you want for your life, because your entire identity has been built around serving the preferences of others. You become a stranger in your own skin, and this is where the monster appears. The monster isn't an external enemy, it is the shadow self. When you suppress your needs, when you swallow your anger, when you bury your personal boundaries in the name of keeping the peace, those emotions don't vanish. Energy cannot be destroyed. It only changes form. Those repressed feelings collect in the shadows of your subconscious. They ferment, they turn toxic, and eventually they will leak out in ways you cannot control. Maybe it's snapping at a loved one over something incredibly small, like a spilled cup of coffee. Maybe it manifests as sarcasm, passive-aggressive comments, or a cold resentment that leaks through your eyes even when you are smiling. Or darker still, it's the sudden volcanic explosion of years of repression, a breakdown that leaves you shocked at the person you've become and leaves the people around you confused because they thought you were so nice. We like to imagine that kindness protects us from darkness, but in reality, kindness without honesty is the perfect breeding ground for darkness. Because every time you say yes when your soul is screaming no, every time you smile when you want to cry, every time you hold back your truth to make someone else comfortable, you are not being kind. You are abandoning yourself. You are telling your inner child, you don't matter. To understand this dark side even better, Let's talk about a crucial psychological concept that few people know about: pathological altruism. This concept, explored by researchers like Barbara Oakley, describes what happens when the desire to help actually causes harm to either the giver or the receiver. Imagine this scenario. You have a friend who is always in financial trouble due to reckless spending and a refusal to work. Out of kindness, every time they complain, you lend them money, even though you are tightening your own belt. You think you are saving them. You feel a momentary rush of being the good friend. But what is the reality? You are preventing that person from learning independence. Your kind act is stripping them of the opportunity to face the consequences of their actions, which is the only way humans grow. You are becoming a soft cushion that ensures they never feel the pain of falling, and because of that, they never learn how to stand up. Pathological altruism looks like kindness, but it creates dependency, guilt, and exhaustion. It is, quite literally, kindness gone wrong. It is often an ego trap. We save others not just for them, but to soothe our own anxiety, to feel needed, to feel superior, or to avoid the discomfort of witnessing struggle. This ties into something even bigger: the cultural myth of the good person. We idealize the martyr. We tell stories of people who gave until they had nothing left. We hear phrases like, "She's such a good girl, she never causes trouble," or "He's a saint, he would give you the shirt off his back." Hidden in those compliments is a dangerous assumption. That goodness means never making demands. That goodness means absence of self. But real goodness, sustainable goodness, is not about erasing yourself. It is about showing up as your full, authentic self and still choosing compassion. When kindness comes from authenticity, it liberates everyone involved. When it comes from fear, it enslaves everyone involved. So why are we wired this way? Why is it so hard to break the pattern? Neuroscience offers a clue. Our brains have a system called mirror neurons. These neurons allow us to feel empathy. When you see someone in pain, your brain lights up in the same areas as if you were in pain too. This is the biological basis of compassion. We are wired to connect, to feel the tribe's suffering. But there is a catch. Mirror neurons don't distinguish between healthy empathy, understanding someone's pain, and emotional contagion, absorbing someone's pain. If you constantly expose yourself to others' suffering without protective barriers, your brain floods itself with stress signals. You essentially hijack your own nervous system. Over time, this leads to chronic stress responses, adrenal fatigue, immune system issues, and emotional numbness. Your brain is not built for endless, boundaryless kindness. It is built for balanced connection. It needs recovery time. Think about the safety instructions on an airplane, a cliche that holds profound wisdom. In an emergency, put your oxygen mask on first before assisting others. At first glance, that advice feels wrong to the kind heart. It feels almost unnatural. Why wouldn't I help my child or my loved one first? But the logic is cold and undeniable. If you pass out from a lack of oxygen because you were too busy fumbling with someone else's mask, you can't help anyone. You become a dead weight. The same principle applies to kindness. If you neglect your own needs, your sleep, your nutrition, and your joy, your ability to truly care for others eventually suffocates. You become irritable, resentful, and ineffective. Self-care is not selfish. It is the strategic maintenance of the vehicle that allows you to be kind. So how do we fix this? How do we embrace kindness without letting it destroy us? How do we stay compassionate without turning into martyrs? The answer lies in one simple but deeply uncomfortable word: boundaries. For many kind people, the word boundary feels violent. It feels like a wall. It feels like rejection. It feels like selfishness. But in reality, boundaries are the purest form of honesty. A boundary is not a wall. It is a gate. A boundary says, this is what I can give, and this is what I cannot. It says, my love is real, but it cannot exist if I am empty. It says, I care enough about our relationship to show you my limits, because without them, my care will rot into resentment. Psychologists describe boundaries as the invisible lines that define where you end and where another person begins. Without those lines, relationships blur into enmeshment, dependency, and manipulation. With them, relationships become clear, mutual, and grounded in respect. Research actually shows that people who set healthy boundaries often experience deeper, more meaningful relationships. Why? Because when a person with boundaries says yes, you know they mean it. You know they aren't secretly hating you for asking. Their kindness is authentic, not forced. Authenticity is magnetic. But here is the challenge. Setting boundaries isn't just about saying no to others. It is about saying yes to yourself. And that can feel excruciating if you've spent your whole life equating worth with selflessness. When you start setting boundaries, be prepared for resistance. You might even lose relationships. Some people won't like it when you stop overextending yourself. The people who benefited from your lack of boundaries will be the ones most upset by your new ones. They will push back. They will accuse you of changing. They might withdraw, and that is painful. It is terrifying, but it is also necessary. It is a filtration system. Relationships built on the expectation of your endless, one-sided giving were never true friendships. They were parasitic. So let's get practical. Theory is easy, but practice is incredibly hard. When you are standing in front of pleading eyes or facing a disappointing text message, your throat tightens and the word no seems impossible to utter. So let's equip you with specific strategies and scripts to practice. Think of these as linguistic armor. Strategy 1, practice the pause. The mistake most kind people make is answering immediately. The yes jumps out before the brain has time to assess the cost. So when someone asks something of you, buy yourself time. Don't say yes. Say, let me check my calendar and get back to you. Or, I need to think about whether I can fit that in. Even a few seconds of reflection can break the trance of automatic people-pleasing. It gives you space to ask, do I have the energy for this? Do I actually want to do this? Strategy 2, the gentle. No. A no doesn't have to be a slap in the face. It can be compassionate. Scenario 1, when you don't have time but care about the person. Instead of, I'll try, say, I would love to help you with this, but my schedule is fully booked right now. I don't want to commit and then do a poor job, which would affect you. Let's catch up another time. Scenario 2, when you are asked to do things beyond your capacity. Say, that is outside my expertise. I think you should ask person X. They would support you better than I can. Scenario 3. When you simply need to rest, the hardest one. Say, "Thank you for thinking of me, but I'm running on empty and need to recharge this weekend, so I can't take this on." Notice that you are not apologizing for existing. You are stating a fact. The world won't fall apart. In fact, the more honest you are, the more people will respect your yes. Strategy 3. Reframe your worth. You must do the internal work to untangle your self-worth from your utility. Your value is intrinsic. You existed before anyone needed you. You are worthy of love, even when you are unproductive. You are worthy of love, even when you are resting. You are worthy of love, even when you are inconvenient. Strategy 4. Tend to your own garden. Fill yourself with the things that nourish you, not just sleep, but active joy. Friendships that feed your soul, creative pursuits, moments of stillness. When you live from abundance rather than scarcity, kindness flows naturally like water, instead of being squeezed out like blood from a stone. It becomes a gift, not a tax. Strategy 5. Allow the harder emotions. Stop demonizing your anger. Your anger is a guard dog. It barks when a boundary has been crossed. If you suppress the dog, the intruder gets in. If you listen to the dog, you can secure the house. Allow yourself to feel frustration, sadness, and disappointment. They are not enemies of kindness. They are the navigational tools of a healthy psyche. Let's return to the metaphor of masks. For many people, kindness has become a lifelong mask. The smile you wear to cover the exhaustion. The yes you give to avoid conflict. But masks are heavy. The real journey of your life is not to throw away kindness. It is to remove the mask and let kindness come from the real you. The you that is messy, the you that gets tired, the you that has limits. This is the shift from nice to real. Nice is polite. Real is honest. Nice is performative. Real is connective. The world has enough nice people. What we need are real people who are kind. There is an old saying, if you want to know who you truly are, look at how you treat yourself when no one is watching. That is where authentic kindness begins, not in the approval of others, not in the applause, but in the quiet choices you make for your own well-being. Do you speak to yourself with the same gentleness you offer a stranger? Do you forgive yourself when you make a mistake? Do you protect your sleep like you protect a child's? If not, then your kindness to others is built on a foundation of sand. The beautiful irony is this. When you treat yourself with true kindness, your kindness toward others becomes more powerful, not less. It comes from overflow, not depletion. It inspires others to rise rather than enabling them to lean. It invites others to respect you rather than use you. And maybe that is the final lesson here. The dark side of kindness isn't about rejecting kindness. It is about transforming it. It is about taking kindness back from the realm of compulsion and placing it into the realm of choice. So the next time someone tells you that you are so kind or such a giver, pause for a moment. Don't just take it as a compliment. Use it as a checkpoint. Ask yourself, is this kindness coming from fear or from freedom? Is it coming from a place of, I have to, or a place of, I choose to? Is it coming from the mask or from the real me? The answer to that question will tell you more about the state of your soul than any praise ever could. Because at the end of the day, the monster within kind people is not their anger, not their limits, not their boundaries. The real monster is self-neglect. And once you face it, once you slay that monster by daring to love yourself, you will discover that your kindness doesn't disappear. It grows up, it matures, it becomes sharper, stronger, and more radiant. It becomes the kind of kindness that doesn't just keep others alive, but keeps you alive too. And maybe that is the ultimate kindness. To live fully as yourself without erasing, without performing, without apologizing for your own existence. To show the world that compassion doesn't mean self-destruction. It means truth. That is the kind of kindness the world needs most. Not endless, hollow yeses, not silent suffering, but the courage to love others without losing yourself in the process.